So when you talk about the people's money and they go, well, it's so much cheaper, right? Well, look at Cardano. It's so cheap. It's, I can afford $2. XRP so cheap. I can afford $1.21. Dogecoin, look at that. It's only 26 cents. Okay, so let's take Dogecoin, for example. Oh, better yet, Shiba Inu. So we'll go to Shiba Inu. It's funny. The Shiba Inu crowd it's hilarious. And I have a friend recently that's like, I went and bought some Shiba. And I'm thinking to myself, you must be on TikTok or something like that, listening to these wannabes on TikTok talking about this type of stuff.
Shiba Inu was literally created. If you go read their why they created it, it's like the coin is meant to be a social experiment. It's a social experiment. It's not meant to be something taken seriously. Like that's what's funny about it is it's kind of everybody. It's not trying to be anything other than a pyramid scheme. It's not trying to be this like super sound money thing. Like it was created super fast as a social experiment. So I don't know why he's thinking people are taking it super seriously. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that do and don't understand it, but like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, like there is a whole host of meme coins that is gambling. It is 100% gambling, rather than investing in the technology, like buying something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano. So
anyway, let's get to Shiba here. So Shiba has a market cap of $28 billion, which is staggering for this. And no wonder it's starting to pull back. But here's the interesting thing. So let's look at the circulating supply of Bitcoin. Even though you see that $65,000, I can't afford $65,000. That's absurd. It has 18,800,000 in the circulating supply. 18,873,000 in the circulating supply. Shiba. Oh, wow, look how cheap it is. It's not even a penny. It's a fraction of a penny. It's so cheap I can afford a bajillion of these Shibas. Well, here's why. There's 549 trillion Shibas out there. Is that the right? Is that trillion or quadrillion? I think it's trillion. 549 trillion Shiba Inu units. So obviously, the price is going to be low when you have 549.
It's actually
quadrillion
quadrillion
units of measure versus 18 billion units of measure. Let's go. This is something a lot of people don't know this. It sounds very basic to go over the market cap and how many shares are underneath that market cap, how many tokens are underneath the market cap, but a lot of people don't do it. Ethereum. You look at Ethereum, you go, oh, it's only $4,600. Well, there's 118 million Ethereum. 18 million Bitcoin, 118 million Ethereum. That's why. Making sense now? So all of this unit bias thing is absurd. The only reason...
Yeah, and he makes a good point here, but also, these things are still being mined and still being created, and there's burning. If you know what burning is when you make it so that something isn't in existence anymore. So when you burn, they just did an upgrade to Ethereum where every transaction burns a small amount of Ethereum. And what that does is that creates more scarcity, and so therefore the Ethereum that's left over is worth more. That's the idea. And the reason they did that is because Ethereum was being mined so quickly that there was a lot more Ethereum circulating, which makes it harder for the value of Ethereum to increase, right? Because if you have $100 worth of Ethereum because there's 100 million Ethereum out there, and then somebody mines another 100 million Ethereum, then your $100 worth of Ethereum can now only buy $50 worth, right? Because there's twice as much. I mean, it's just inflation, right? So to combat that, whenever something transacts, they're burning Ethereum. So that way the Ethereum that people have doesn't become or isn't impacted by inflation, right? So if more things are being bought with it and you're just holding Ethereum, you're not spending it, then your Ethereum is going to be worth more later on because there's not as much Ethereum left, if that makes sense.
Bitcoin is such a high price is because they're not valuing it in Satoshis yet. Once they value it in Satoshis, you'll see that same type of Shiba Inu type thing, except there's actually a hard cap, and it's actually the most secure network of them all, and the real network. But let's go to Doge, for example. Okay, so Dogecoin, it's only 26 cents. I can afford it. This is the people's money. Dogecoin is the people's money. 132 billion tokens. 132 billion. Yep. All right. So now that that's out of the way, the unit bias situation is out of the way. That's basically to take advantage of you, in my personal opinion. I think that basically the goal is to take advantage of people and go, if we price Shiba Inu so low and we do this, it's going to be bought up like crazy. People are going to think it's the people's money. I have news for you. If you don't hold your currency, this is the next point, is the currency. But if you don't hold your token in a cold storage, you don't actually own it. The exchange owns it. So Coinbase owns it.
So it doesn't have to be in cold storage, but he's talking about the difference here between, and this is again where he doesn't quite understand the technology, but if you buy it through an exchange and you don't transfer it to a wallet, whether that's a hot wallet or a cold wallet, then he's right. The exchange owns it. But once you transfer that to your wallet, and I'll do another video, I'll do another talk about like the intricacies of the wallet, but a wallet is like the quick of it is a wallet is generated from a seed phrase. When you have that seed phrase, you can have multiple wallets related to that same seed phrase that exist. It doesn't matter what exchange, I think, I'm still learning, but I don't think it matters like what technology that wallet sits on top of. So you could have a MetaMask wallet, you could have a Coinbase wallet, you could have different kinds of wallets, crypto.com wallet that all have the same seed phrase. If you decided to generate them that way. And then that way, if something happens to your Coinbase wallet because Coinbase does something illegal or shuts down or whatever, then you can still use the same seed phrase, get a backup through a different wallet provider, and still access your assets. So he's right in the fact that you need to get it off of an exchange. Robinhood is a whole different story. I don't think you even, like in an exchange, you buy it and it's on your account. But I think in Robinhood, I don't even know if you actually buy it. I think it's more of like a request for purchase. So, yeah, Robinhood's not a good place to be buying crypto.
Or Robinhood owns it, or all of that. And if you look at like the Dogecoin millionaire, for example, he's the big shot on YouTube right now, right? Or was. I think it's fallen quite a bit, but he shows his portfolio all the time, right? Well, look, I'm the Dogecoin millionaire. Here, I got $1 million here. It's in Robinhood. He doesn't have custody of it. That's not decentralized at all. That is the most centralized thing possible, to have Robinhood custodying your Dogecoin for you.
Well, the most centralized thing possible. I mean, I don't know why he's saying it like that. Like, it's still legally his, right? Robinhood owes those Dogecoin to him because he put his fiat currency into a company, and then that company should have gone out and bought that Dogecoin for him. So it's centralized in the fact that Robinhood is the exchange where he's doing it through. But if you're going to be buying cryptocurrency in an easy way, you're going to be going through some kind of centralized exchange. Like if this guy owns Bitcoin, he went through a centralized exchange to buy the Bitcoin. So there are places that centralization is a good thing for Bitcoin. It's not like everything that you do has to be decentralized in cryptocurrency, or it's a scam, or it's bad. It's like, no, it makes sense to centralize some things to make it easier to do what it is, but you need to understand where things are being centralized and where things are decentralized. So once you have your seed phrase wallet, and the difference between cold storage and hot storage, I can get into that another time, but it's basically like, where was the seed phrase generated? If the seed phrase was generated on the internet, then it's a hot wallet because there's a chance that someone has hacked your computer and can see that seed phrase. If the seed phrase was generated outside of the internet on like a device, like a USB device, then that is a cold wallet. And what that means is that whenever you connect your wallet to your computer, it's not seeing your seed phrase. It's just seeing the public addresses of the wallet. So it's completely safe. It's never seen the internet, and there's no way that someone could hack it.
Ridiculous. It has a totally insecure network, and Robinhood is the one taking custody of your token on an unsecured network. Like people's money.
Why is Robinhood an unsecured network?
132 billion units.
It's comparison
anyway,
to...
I hear that all the time, and it cracks me up.
Robinhood is still secure.
You don't have custody of it.
It's just less secure than Bitcoin.
Of a Bitcoin network, like the ethos is decentralized. Decentralized means you have custody of it. You take it out of the chain, you put it on your own.
Okay, that's wrong. That's not true. Decentralized doesn't mean you have custody to it. Digital scarcity and ownership of the asset means you have custody to it. Decentralization means that all of the nodes have a copy of the entire ledger, and that the ledger is distributed throughout all those nodes. And so therefore you can't do a targeted attack with a computer and change the different amounts that exist, right? So the analogy that I always use is like, if you have a bank and that bank has a database, then you can hack that bank and change the values in the databases. So you can say, oh, my bank account has 2 more decimals in it, or 2 more commas in it. So I've got more money than everybody else. And all you have to hack is that one database. But with a decentralized ledger, and that database is the ledger, right? So, but if you have a decentralized ledger, then you have these different databases that exist that are exact copies. And if you're going to make a change to one database, you have to make a change to every single database or every single ledger that is being hosted on all the different nodes, which is why the more nodes that are hosted, the more decentralized it is, because the more places you have to go if you're trying to hack the system, if that makes sense. That is decentralization. Decentralization has nothing to do with ownership of the asset. That is a totally different concept. It's digital scarcity and digital ownership of the asset.
Nice. Take it off of these Coinbase, Robinhood, Cash App, all these things. You take it off of these exchanges and you put it on your own device, and you hold your Bitcoin on your own device. You can do this with other tokens, but it's not as easy and efficient, and it doesn't have the huge network that Bitcoin does.
It is exactly as easy and exactly as efficient, no matter what currency you're doing. It is super easy to just set up a wallet and transfer your cryptocurrency to that wallet. It's not like it's easier with Bitcoin.
So there's that. A lot to go over here. Now, here's the biggest point. This is the biggest point. Currency. Now, a lot of people will say, because on the Bitcoin white paper, that it was meant to be a currency, a peer-to-peer currency, a cash. Here's the thing. Bitcoin is classified as an asset. It's literally, Jerome Powell commented on it from the Fed.
You get classified by the U.S. government, right? Like, it's not like because the U.S. government said it's an asset, it is therefore an asset immutably. Like, no, it's just been classified as an asset by the U.S. government right now.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell, big fans of him around here. But he recently classified Bitcoin as a digital gold, and it is literally classified as a digital type of real estate, a digital asset. That's where.
So what that means is that it's the value of it is differently related to the U.S. dollar, which is currency, right? So if you have $100 worth of, or if you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, then instead of that being a currency where there's an exchange rate when you exchange between Bitcoin and US dollars, it's more like if you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin and then you buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then in a year you sell the same amount of Bitcoin, and you're going to pay capital gains on that, right? You're not going to pay a currency exchange rate on it. It's not like going from the euro to the US dollar. It's more like selling a stock or selling a house, right? It's an asset. So, or a car. If you have house is a good example. So you have a house and you're going to sell that house, but that house went up in value. You pay the capital gains, or you pay the taxes on the value of the house when you sell it. So that's how Bitcoin is classified. It's not classified as like a euro, where if you're going to move from U.S. currency to Bitcoin and then from Bitcoin to U.S. currency, it's just an exchange rate fee. So that's the difference of why it's classified that way. Any value that is created from owning Bitcoin in relation to the U.S. dollar, you have to pay in U.S. dollar taxes when you transact it.
Want to be. That's like a Trojan horse, because here's what cracks me up. I'm hearing all of these people that buy into the cryptocurrency types. It's a currency. Dogecoin is the people's money. Shiba Inu is the people's money, right? Well, if you're a currency, you're competing with a dollar. They're going to label you as a security, and they're going to come after you because they do not want competition with the dollar. So the idea is, why would you want to be a currency? You want to be an asset, and Bitcoin is the asset. They're going to allow Bitcoin and not allow these other currencies. They're not going to.
Well, first of all, I don't know why you would think that you should build something that's going to be compliant with the U.S. government. Like, the goal of Bitcoin was never to build something that was going to be compliant with governments. It was meant to build digital scarcity that was ownable and decentralized, right? Like, I don't think that we need to consider U.S. policy as much as this guy is saying, like, this is what you would want to have. That doesn't feel intuitively right to me either.
Allow the people's currency of Dogecoin. They're going to allow Bitcoin as an asset, which is such a pure asset that it can also be a currency. So let me get into that, because in the white paper it says Bitcoin is a currency. What I argue is it was meant to be a digital gold. And so what is this gold coin here? This gold coin is an ounce of gold. So it's worth, it's got $1,800 of gold in it, right? But if you look close, that is a $20 gold piece from the 1800s, from 1894, right? It's a $20 gold piece. This was currency. In 1894, this was what $20 was, which makes you realize how inflated and ripped off we've become on what a $20 bill is. If you think of like a crumpled up $20 bill, that's what your $20 bill used to be in
Okay, well, in 1890, do you know how much $20 could buy you? Probably about the same amount that an ounce of gold could buy you now. Like, that's the interesting thing here is the value. Maybe a little bit less. Like